In this episode of New Jersey Living, we are at the point of midsummer, and it is time for our midsummer market update. We're going to dive into three of the more active markets to get an idea of what is happening with interest rates slightly trending downward. Has not really taken a significant dip as much in the summer as what some hoped for, but there is news on the horizon, which we'll dive into a little later. So we're going to investigate three markets that, again, tend to be higher volume to gauge what's happening right now compared to where we were in our last market update, which actually was on one of my podcast episodes back in the spring. So stay dialed in. We're going to dive into that right now. Hello, my name is Corey Jones, and I am a licensed real estate agent with Coldwell Banker in the state of New Jersey. And I am team leader of the New Jersey Living Group, host of New Jersey Living, the podcast, and obviously your guide here on New Jersey Living, the YouTube channel. So our endeavor is to make sure that we are providing quality, value-add content that is 5-star, reflecting our Google ratings. And we are going to dive into some information today that's going to be very insightful. So if you are looking for information to really learn about all things New Jersey, we cover real estate primarily, of course, but we also cover the social dining scene. We cover iconic locations. We, of course, cover the real estate market. So if you're all things New Jersey, definitely click like, subscribe, notification bell. Stay tuned into what we are covering from week to week. We'll cover a variety of topics that pertain to New Jersey, and we really think that this is something that you will enjoy, even if you are currently a resident, not looking to necessarily move here, but reflect on some places you've been, places that you may, in fact, live right now. And just to share some insights and some feedback on what we are covering in our content. So definitely feel free to leave some comments right here in the comments section. You're going to take notice that I do tend to cover a lot of more recent information as it pertains to the real estate market. If you are looking for updated information and not past sales, which I tend to cover here, definitely go to my website, NewJerseyLivingGroup.com, and there are all types of information on the current market, what is available. You can search by neighborhood. You can even do a search on a specific address. All of that is there. You can set up your own custom search as well. I'm available to assist those who have any questions, or if you are in need of whether it be buy, sell, investing, renting, definitely information is right here in the content. Calendly link is there as well. Schedule an appointment. I'd be glad to assist with my own time and treasure, which is my energy and expertise to assist you in your process. So we're going to take a look today at the midsummer market performance, where we are. I try to select in episodes like this markets that tend to be not the extreme high end, because we have high end markets like a Summit, like Westfield, Montclair, Ridgewood. These are some of those areas that are very much high end that reflect a really smaller segment of the buyer population. So I try to find places that are more towards that middle. And the three markets that I'm going to focus on, most often I'm using these three, if not maybe an additional one or two to these three. First one being Union Township and Union County, New Jersey. The next one being Bloomfield, which is in Essex County, and Teaneck in Bergen County. These are all markets that have a pretty robust volume between the price points of about 400,000 to 800,000. Obviously going above that price range as well, but a good number is right there in the middle for what's commonly a more middle New Jersey price point in our market. So we're going to first start and take a look at Union Township. So for Union Township, I'm going to first reference my episode on Union. Just flash up really quickly that thumbnail. If you want to get some deeper insights on Union, definitely refer to that episode. It does not have the most recent market activity because that was some time back. You'll notice that I'm wearing a coat and what have you, because it was during the winter when I filmed there, but you'll get more insights on Union in general. But in Union, I'm going to flash up now The market activity over the last month, we are at August 1st. So this is reflecting pretty much the month of September. And these are all single family. So this is, and these are all three markets are heavily single family. There are some condo, there are some multifamily. Union doesn't have a very significant volume of multifamily, but we're going to focus on single family for our purposes in market evaluation. So we see that 29 sales for the month of July. These all closed in the month of July. And relative to what we saw in the spring, Union was routinely mid 30 up into the 40s for a given month. All right. A 30-day period would yield that number of sales. So we can see what the slowdown period looks like when we're talking about midsummer. Most sales and activity take place late March all the way into early June. Many people are searching as the weather opens up. There are more properties on the market, so the list volume is higher. People want to move during the summer. Families want to have kids ready, register for school in the fall. And it's just a more pleasant time to be out and about, looking at properties in general. So this is certainly a prime time for real estate. And once we get into midsummer, now we're looking at a lot of these contracts that have closed were people who were landing deals mid-May all the way into like mid-June. So we see a definite slowdown. We probably see a little bit further of a downtick if we were to do the same thing for the month of August, 30 days out from now. So this is 29 sales altogether. And what I like about the Garden State MLS, you can see the percentages. So again, flashing up what we see with our inventory. It was too big for me to fit all 29. So I have two different clips up here for you. And I really want you to focus at the sales price versus list price, which is that column to the far right, second to the far right. You have days on market, you have list price. And where you see 100%, that means it's sold at list price. Anything above 100 gives you an idea of how much above list it went. So a 109, for example, would be 9% above list price. Below would be something below 100. So of the 29, there are exactly 3 properties that sold under list price. And that's, again, going back to market performance. We are still very much in a seller's market. There are not many properties that are going below market value. And for Union, another reason I select Union, Bloomfield, and Teaneck, these are all locations that are solid demand, but not extreme high premium demand. Those tend to be those that meet the criteria of the big 3. And if you've been watching my other episodes on different town locations, you know exactly what the big 3 are. So the big 3 are represent the 3 factors that create the highest demand in the New Jersey real estate market. So the first of those 3 would be proximity to New York City. And by proximity, that's generally an hour car drive to reach Manhattan. All right. Usually that's going to be Midtown or the financial district downtown. Next is going to be train station, in-town train station. I use in-town specifically because there are some locations that are close to a train station, but the train station is not there in town. So I use that as a criteria. And the third criteria, school ratings. So if the school ratings are high, and I use niche.com for those, I stay away from subjective opinions and refer to niche.com. If it carries an A rating on niche, that's generally referencing a school, that district that is highly regarded based on performance and reputation. So those 3 create the highest demand. So of Teaneck and Bloomfield and Union, none of these 3 communities have a check mark for all 3, right? They're 2 out of 3s for the most part. But these are solid school districts. These are not districts where you would be, overly concerned with bringing a student, enrolling your kids there. So these, and that's all to say, represent a very much in the middle, if not upper middle type of market, where in terms of activity and demand. Okay. So Union represents 29. I'm going to go to the median property. So really we could go either property number 15 or property number 16. Is kind of a toss up. I'm just going to go with property number 16 as that middle property. And this particular property is 1146 Burnett Ave. It listed at $559. It sold at $667. And this was, if I'm remembering what I saw correctly, 19%. So this is a 19% above asking price sale on this particular property. All right. And this one was on the market a total of 11 days. All right. And just peeking through some of the interior photos here. Yes, this was a property that certainly had upgrades. There are newer finishes throughout here. I'm trying to remember right offhand, did I end up showing this property? Because I remember showing something in Union very, very, very similar to it. I believe I did. But this is, again, this is that median. This is right in the middle for Union. Just flashing some pictures. You'll be able to see these photos as well of the property and the condition that the property was in. All right. So this is reflective of that, again, that midsummer. There was highest and best on it. There were multiple offers. There was a lot of attention. The accepted offer doesn't mean days on market, mean that it was that long to make a decision. The decision likely was made even before that. But this gives you a good in the middle example of what market performance and Union looked like over the past 2 months, because we have to account for the fact that this was something that probably went under contract mid or early June, and I see under contract date was June 17th. All right, listed on June 6th and closed on July 18th. All right. Okay, so we see that that activity is pretty much reflective of what we're seeing in general. Let's skip over to Teaneck. Our next stop is in Teaneck in Bergen County. Teaneck being on the northern end of the state, Bergen County being the furthest northeast county in the state, and really one of the higher price points and even per capita that you're going to find in New Jersey is going to be in that county. So we're going to take a look at this list, and the list totals at 16 sales. And as you see this entire list, you see a mix of red and green font for the sales price. One of them is just a black font. So red means, think of it this way, red is advantage to the seller. Green is advantage to the buyer. So red gives you an idea that something that went above list price, and green went below. And if it is a regular black font, as is the case with the 15th of the 16 properties, it went exactly at list price. This format does not give us the percentages, however, above or below, but what we see clearly of 16, I'm counting the number of greens here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 of the 16 sold under, all right? So sold below list price. The majority are still selling above. I'm going to take a peek at the median here, and I am going to, although these are not numbered exactly, I'm going to kind of pick out what was dead center, and I'm going to go with 505 Queen Anne Road. That's right by the park. So certainly a desirable location close to the bus line as well. All right, so 505, I'm going to flash some photos up of 505, and what we see here is list price at $599, sold at $640, 8 days on market. This one had 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths. You know, in the event that I don't mention this, you're seeing it flashed up anyway on properties that I missed, because I know I didn't get into those details on the Union property, and same thing with taxes. So this property was, I'm not going to call it a Dutch colonial. It's kind of a different version. I won't call it the classic either, but this is a colonial style home, and you can see that interior wise, it is certainly reflecting that some updates have happened over recent years. Not extreme high end per se, but looks very well maintained. We are looking at photos too, because when you get inside, you often see that, you know, photos can very much enhance the overall condition of a property versus walking through it. But this one gives you a pretty clear indicator that the house was well maintained, in good condition. All right, so And again, location is great because this is one of those locations not far from the park or the bus line. So 8 days on market went pretty much immediate. See if there are any other indicators of things that may have stood out. That has a detached garage in the back. That's another appeal, even for storage. And many of these garages for homes built in this time frame are not sufficient in size to park a contemporary car, but it can be used as storage, of course. Tax is not bad at all. $11,174 for a 600 plus price point. Not bad at all. All right, so this gives you a bit of a taste for what Teaneck is. And again, I'm gonna flash up my thumbnail for Teaneck. If you want some more specific insights to that community, I have an episode there as well. So feel free to take a dive into that episode for, more information on the market of Teaneck. So we're gonna take one more stop in our midsummer assessment, and that's going to be Bloomfield. But again, we're looking at 16. Teaneck is frequently somewhere high 20 to low 30. But again, we're in that season where we see that's tailoring down of activity because of where we are in the year. So let's hop to the final scene and take a look at what's happening in Bloomfield. Final stop is in Bloomfield. And for Bloomfield, we have a total of 25 sales. And this is another market that in the springtime, we normally would, again, have numbers definitely in the 30s all the way up to low 40s for a typical April, maybe even March, definitely April, May kind of time frame. So we are looking at 25 total, and of the 25, this is again, Garden State gives us percentages, and I'm flashing that up right now so that you can see that the total that went below list price were 2 out of the 25. For the median, I will go and right at the middle, both number 12 and 13 both went 120 above respectively. So I think I'll go with 13. This is 146 Robb Ave, and 146 Robb was listed at $575. It sold at $690, 200, 8 days on market, 3 bedrooms, 1 full bath, 2 half baths. And let's take a look at these photos, flash these up just to see what kind of layout is here. This is directly backed up on the golf course. So this is certainly a quieter neighborhood. And this is often what we find, this particular model and style in Bloomfield. Not a lot of upgrades, but you see a lot of wood trim. Some find that favorable, others don't. Kitchen, a bit dated, but things look well maintained. Sunroom in the back, there's wood paneling both on the wall and ceiling, and carpet we see in the bedrooms, or at least in one of the bedrooms. I've seen to be the primary that had carpet, but albeit a bit dated, very well maintained, and certainly even the basement, you can see the basement has very unique aesthetics to it. So would certainly reflect a lot of property that you would find in Bloomfield and relatively high demand. So this one did not last certainly beyond a week in terms of that accepted offer. It went one weekend, highest and best were due coming off the weekend. So this was something that moved very, very quickly. So this is showing us basically summer market. Although it slows down, the slowdown does not necessarily mean that there is less competition. It just means that there is less overall volume. That volume doesn't necessarily translate to people not willing to bid and to bid aggressively, because you have 5 on, let's say 5, for example, buyers rather than 8 or 12. It doesn't necessarily mean that that price point is going to be lower because there's fewer in numbers. Someone in that group, and all it takes is one, can be very motivated, very much looking to secure the property and willing to pay premium for it, knowing that it is still challenging to get an accepted offer in this market, even in the summertime slowdown. And if you're able to at least secure it, you know, in these markets particularly, as you can see, everything is going pretty comfortably above ask. In a year's time, as I've said in one of my recent episodes, that you're comfortably looking at a 7 to 10% year over year market appreciation, and any of these markets that are relatively higher demand, very popular, very much attractive for families who are in the middle, which is why I chose these three. The market value of the property is going to appreciate comfortably in that 7 to 10% year over year. So to secure it now, even if it as a premium price, you know what your investment is going to do with a degree of certainty over time. This kind of reflects where we are in the midsummer market. We're going to be diving back into some more neighborhood features very soon. We're doing some specials right now on the downtown Jersey City scene, and we're going to be hitting some beach locations as well before we conclude with summer. So we're going to get down to the shore as we did early spring before there was a crowd, but we'll get down there again to show what the crowds look like and have some footage for you to reflect on with the beach scene in, I call South Jersey, but down the shore. All right, so thanks again for tuning in. Please do click like, subscribe, notification bell. If you are a buyer looking to shop around, trying to get your process started, or just need some assistance with your process, look into my descriptions here. I do have a buyer's guide to provide resources and insights. Definitely reach out to me directly. I have a Calendly link, like I mentioned before, in the description. If you're looking to buy, sell, looking for investment property, or even rent, my team is here ready to assist. So thank you again. Stay safe and stay tuned to New Jersey Living.